everybody, and as promised, I'm going to show you that method that was told to me in survival course, but I've never actually done it myself, but we're going to get it together here because it was explained as a very simple thing to do. So the things that you would need is you need 2 plastic containers with soft plastic caps. The soft ones, not the hard plastic or metal caps. You could probably use those, but it's kind of hard to get things sealed. The other thing you would need is, they said grapevine is one of the best, but you can use any tree branch that comes from any tree that is not of a poisonous variety. Don't get sumac or poison oak or anything like that. You don't want those poison type branches leaching poison into your water. And also you don't want to use creosote bushes, which are plentiful out here in the desert. Those are the bushes you see all over the place in my videos. So you don't want to use anything like that. You want to use something from a good tree, preferably something that grows edible fruit, like a grapevine, an apple tree, a pear tree, something like that, an orange tree. There's nothing going to be in that branch that's going to actually harm you. Now remember, this whole episode that I'm going to do here is for survival purposes only. I don't suggest you do this on an everyday basis and expect to clean out large quantities of water for drinking. This is for survival training only, all right? All right, so the last thing you're going to need is, and this is something I have on me all the time. You can make sure that you buy a good quality one of these. I like the one with this little lever on the top that locks it down, and this part swings open to get the blade out and change the blade. And get yourself a pack of like 150 or 250 blades or whatever. Keep your blades handy, and you'll never be without a nice sharp knife that can be used for many things. Okay, so this is another thing that you want to get. This is a nice Craftsman, and I got this at Sears before they closed. But this is a real handy item to have if you're going to be living off grid. And it's a folding knife, so you can carry it with you anywhere you want. And its blade is definitely under 3¼ inches, so you don't have to worry about it being getting arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. Because it doesn't fit the jackknife or pocket knife type thing. All right, so the last thing, you can use this to make the holes in the cover, but I'm going to be using this step drill. That's another item that you'd like to get. Harbor Freight sells them all the time in 2-packs and that stuff. This is the smaller taper of the 2, so get yourself a set of those if you can. All right, so how's this all going to work? Well, very simply, we're going to take our piece of grapevine here, and I'm going to try to use the heaviest part of it right here between this knuckle and here. Now the growth of this goes this way. Okay, so this would be the bottom of the grapevine, and that's growing up towards the top or towards the sky. So you don't have to, it doesn't say you have to put it in line that way, but my instructor at the time said he just does it because it's natural for the water to flow in that direction through the branch, so let's keep it that way. So I'm going to cut this off right here at the union. Now obviously the heavier the branch that you get, the bigger diameter you get, the faster it's going to work. but we're going to do this with this piece because this is what I had. I had to prune this off of my grapevine, and let's get with it. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is just kind of use my knife to just give me a little bit of a taper at the ends. Sounds like one of the puppies is having a dream. All right, so we're going to, on this one, we're going to do the same thing. Now, if you're going to use your knife and you don't have one of these step drills, what you want to do is have your cover on your bottle so that it holds that for you, and you're not in danger of slicing your hand. And then you want to cut a little hole in the top here, just slightly smaller than the diameter of the branch you're going to use. But what I'm going to be using is the drill. So this is the bottom. So I'm going to take this and measure it on the drill right here, and I'm going to say that one would probably be too big, so I'm going to stop at this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. So I'm going to make 4 steps into the feeder bottle. That's the dirty water side. One, 2, 3, 4. All right. So let's see. I want it to fit nice and tight in there, and it does. All right. And it doesn't have to stick in very far, just enough so that it seals on the bottle. All right, so now we're going to do the other side here. And I'm going to stop at 3, not 4 on this one, because I'm on the smaller end of that. Okay, I should see my hole there, and let's see how this is going to fit in there. All right, it fits pretty darn good. So we're going to make sure that the cap on the bottom is tight, and now we're going to take the cap off of the feeder bottle, the dirty water side, if I can. I should have checked to see if that cap was going to come off in the first place. Let me grab a pair of pliers and see if I can get it done. Yeah, wasps. They're everywhere. All right. So now I got it off, so I'm going to go fill this up with the dirty, ugly water. Hang in there, guys. I'll be right with you. Ooh, that's not looking very good. Whew. All right, let me get this back up into position so it doesn't drain on me. And I'll come over and show you what I've got here. And this is it right here. Yeah, that looks a little murky with some junk floating around in it. So, not something I'd want to drink. All right, so now we can put the cap back on with our two bottles together. And I was told that if you had some electrician's tape handy, you could wrap it around the top cap, the dirty water cap, and the branch, and give it a little bit better seal. But let's see how much water I'm going to leak out of there. Not too bad, as you can see. Okay, now it takes a little while for that water to get through the branch. But I am leaking on the outside, and I don't like that part of it. So I'm going to pause here and get a little electrician's tape and seal this up a little bit better so that it's not leaking out of the cap. Because we're going to have to set this somewhere, and what they told us is you can tie the upper bottle to the side of a tree, and then tie the bottom one after that, so that once it starts getting water into it, it'll get heavy, and that'll keep it in place. But you could also put the bottom one on a branch cradled on a branch, and then just tie the top one so that it holds the weight. And what you're going to do is just wait for that water to siphon through your branch and into the bottom, and it should take out all of the junk and debris that's in there. Now, yes, I've heard about also using just a rag, a face cloth, and setting that as a siphon from one container to the other. That will clean up the water somewhat. It's not going to make it drinkable right off the bat, because the cloth is not going to filter as well as a branch will. So remember that part of it. But in a clinch, you could use a rag from one container to the other and get fairly clean water out of that. Something that you would drink and maybe have a little bit of the squirts when you use the bathroom, but you won't die from it. All right, so I'm going to pause here and get that thing taped up. All right, I'm back, and I've got this set up, and I'm about to sneeze. Woo. Anyway, there's a dirty water bottle and the piece of grapevine going down, and it's stuck in the bottom bottle, which is resting on a shelf. And I tied that up with a piece of rope to, well, would it be a a tree branch or something like that. But this is supposed to be the method on how it's done. So I did have to use electrical tape, and that made a note to self. Next time I do this, I will make the hole in the cap super small compared to what I really need. So I have to force the stick into it with a lot of fervor to get it into place, because that'll give me a tighter seal around it, and I won't have to use tape. But because I had this all set up, I didn't want to start all over again. All right, so I do have some plastic pieces from drilling the cap that ended up inside the bottle, and I didn't rinse out. But we'll take into consideration that there'll be a few little pieces of plastic floating in there, and I'll strain those before I see how the water comes out of it. So we're going to let this sit, and I'll come back to it in next video later on tonight. This is G Bear signing off.